Welcome to Sacred Earth Farms. Today I'm going to show you guys how to bed prep for a no-till, high-intensity food production system. All right, here we go. So, first important thing is to note the width of your beds. I choose to go for a 30-inch wide bed because I can stand over it, no problem. I can come through and I can pull weeds if I need to. Plus, the broad fork that I got is a 24-inch wide broad fork, which is perfect for a 30-inch wide market garden bed. Because when you pull in and you pull up, it lifts a few inches on either side, which is perfectly about the width of your bed. So what I do first is I come through and I just crack open the soil with my broad fork. Stomp into it. Some places this is going to be not very easy. I've been doing this for a couple of years here now, so it's gotten really nice and soft and easy to step into. There are still some spots in this bed that you will probably see where it is not so easy for me to just step it into the soil. And the reason we want to do this is because in a no-till system, we don't want to invert the layers of the soil. Because in nature, what happens is the soil layers develop over time, and typically the top 2 to 3 inches has the most amount of soil life and the most amount of nutrient availability. So we want to keep that system intact, and we just want to add aeration to the soil. We just want to add and reduce compaction. See, the spots are getting a little more compacted. As you can see, I can't just stomp into it. I gotta step on it and rock it back and forth. Now, this is going to make it so that when I grow carrots, for instance, rather than getting a bunch of split carrots or wonky looking carrots, I'll get really nice uniform long carrots. Right. One thing I failed to mention, and something that was actually great for me to notice right then, I think I might have been veering off to the right a little bit here, and you can kind of see, which is the reason why I have these bed stakes. You put these bed stakes here because you want to tie it to the bed stake. You tie your string to the bed stake, and then, okay. So, you tie your string to the bed stake, and then you run it all the way across to the other bed stake on the other side. And you see, I actually was totally moving off to the side. So that's a good thing to note. Always, doesn't matter if you think you're going straight, it's always best to just use the tools so you can stay on track. As you can see, I was going off pretty far. And if you don't use these bed stakes and you don't use these strings, over time, your beds can move, your paths can widen. So it's always good to just take the 5 seconds it took for me to run the string across so that I could have a consistent straight bed. And you'll see why other reasons why I use the bed stakes and the string here in just a second. All right. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to rake out most of this plant material because I don't want it to get it caught up in my tilter. And it also makes it much easier to pull out these bigger clumps of weeds they're all going to come out super easily. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the bed mostly removed of all the weeds. There's a little bit of weed material in here. And the tilther will take care of it. I'm not worried about the small little bits. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to come in and I'm going to spread a little layer of fertilizer. This is an organic 444 fertilizer, and you might be asking me, well, why am I going to spread fertilizers if I'm going to teach you guys how to make fertilizers on your own? Well, there's two reasons for that. And one is because I was given a bunch of fertilizers. So when you have free stuff, you don't throw it away or not use it. So it's free organic fertilizer, so I'm going to use it. Do I need it? No. But here's another reason why I would use it. Is when you're first transitioning into natural farming and making all of your own fertilizers, you don't want to quit your beds cold turkey, per se. Like, similar to how an alcoholic, you don't want to quit alcohol cold turkey or any other kind of drug. You don't want to just quit cold turkey because it could really have detrimental effects. Same thing kind of with your crop. If you've been using fertilizers in your system for a long time and you're looking to transition over to natural farming and making all of your own fertilizers, it's important to note that you want to still transition over. You don't want to just cut it off immediately. It's wise to still use a little bit of your fertilizers, and you can wane off of your fertilizers and use less and less every crop. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to make a nice little dusting here. These beds are pretty brand new. They've only been, there's only been one crop produced out of these beds. So, and I have not applied any IMO, indigenous microorganisms, to these beds at all yet. So, these definitely still need fertilizers. And if I was to try and grow a crop out of these beds without fertilizers, I probably wouldn't get the greatest results. Because it takes time for the microbes that you develop in your IMO. It takes time for those microbes to establish themselves in the soil and to really start working efficiently inside your system. So, like I said, it's definitely still important to use a little bit of fertilizer. So I'm gonna just finish up spreading this here on these beds. And then I'm gonna spread a little bit of the IMO too. Alright. So next thing I'm gonna spread is the IMO. This is indigenous microorganisms, and it's really dry right now because it's been kept in a dry area. It's hard to see. I don't know if you can even see that, but there's a lot of fungi, spores, microbes, other stuff in here. It's all dormant and will become activated once it has come in contact with water. You can see probably a little bit better in that clunk. But this is going to activate the soil and become a biostimulant and really increase the bioavailability of all the nutrients and increase the plant's ability to function, and so many amazing benefits that I will go over more in my deep on how to IMO video. So just a little quick explanation there. I'm going to come through here and just kind of spread this mildly gregariously, because these microbes are going to do all the work eventually. I'm not going to add these big sticks, but all right. Now that we've got both of those applied, I'm going to come through with the tilter and incorporate these layers. The tilter really only gets down, as you can see, about 2 inches into the soil. Maybe like 2.5 if it gets all the way to the bar. So you're not inverting the layers per se, you're just incorporating the amendments that you just put on top into that top 2 inches of soil, which is the most biologically active and the most nutritionally available per se. So what we're going to do is we're going to come through and we're going to just incorporate these layers with this drill powered little mini tiller that isn't really a tiller because it's not inverting layers. It is just minorly fluffing up that top layer to allow for a really, really nice, smooth seed bed for planting new crops. So, show you what that looks like right here. And now we have a nicely prepped bed ready for planting. And there you have it, bed prep.